Great. So hi again, my name is Sarah and I'm the marketing manager here at OpenLearning, and I'm very, very excited to welcome you all to OpenLearning's global headquarters. To start, thank you. Okay. To start, OpenLearning would first like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional custodians of our land, Australia. We acknowledge the Gadigal of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of this place we now call Sydney. I'd also like to welcome anyone joining us from all around the world on our live stream tonight. To kick off this evening, I would like to invite the one and only, our CEO and one of the 3 founders, Mr. Adam Bremo, to share with you some special announcements and updates on OpenLearning.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I really appreciate all your hard work in getting the event organized. You and your team have done a fantastic job. So let's everyone thank us. Well, thank you everyone for coming so far. Can you hear me up the back?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So I just want to welcome all of you here today, particularly Mr. Paul Fletcher, Parliamentary Secretary for the Department of Broadband and Communications and member for Bradfield. It's an honor to have you here today. But also many of our investors and our early clients. In particular, the people who, from our last round, Robin and Susan Yandel, it's great to see you here. Clive Mayhew, our chairman who led the last round. Kevin Barry from ICS Global as well is here. And Hideaki Fukutake, who couldn't make it tonight because he's based in New Zealand, but he's involved with one of the leading education companies in Japan. So great to have them on board. But on top of that, I'd also like to welcome some of our early supporters as well. In particular, Mr. Rati Avoidis, who has been one of my earliest investors and a very close friend over the past couple of years. So it's really exciting to see all of you here today, and I'm really honored to have you with us. Before we get started, I just want to announce our new logo. And you would have seen it all around. You would have seen the colors everywhere, all the shirts our teams are wearing. And I guess what it really shows is that there's been quite a transition in OpenLearning. As the company has grown, not just in terms of staff, but in terms of students and users worldwide, it was time to really adjust our brand as well. And we're really excited with our new logo. We work closely with the Distillery, a Surrey Hills-based studio who are here tonight, and it's great to have them. But our new logo shows OpenLearning as an authentic and active learning experience. In the negative space of the logo, there's a speech bubble, showcasing collaboration and communication. The hand-drawn nature shows that anyone can do it, just like learning and teaching. We can all be a part of it. And it's a real fantastic color as well. Not too dark, not too light. And we're really excited to have it. But I guess as OpenLearning has grown from a small company to now supporting over 200,000 students worldwide from 30 higher education institutions from all around the world with thousands of courses. OpenLearning is led by a fantastic team, including myself, Brooke Hahn, our Chief Learning Officer, David Collian, our Chief Technology Officer, and I hope all of you had a chance to attend their talks earlier tonight. It was really fantastic that they were able to showcase some of the things that makes OpenLearning special and that makes it different, not just in terms of technology, but also in the education as well. I'm also joined tonight by my co-founder, Professor Richard Buckman from the University of New South Wales, who we've worked closely with for over the past few years since we first started OpenLearning together, what seemed like not so long ago. And also Frank Beaumont, one of our first investors and director of the company, and Mr. Clive Mayhew, our chairman. So it's fantastic to have all of you here today. But this is the OpenLearning team as it stands. It's grown significantly to over 20 people in 3 countries, working hard on many areas, including engineering, instructional design, technology. And many of them are here tonight to join you in launching our headquarters. What I wanted to share with you as well, though, is our vision for the future of education and how far it's come. Since the internet first started, people have been focusing on education as content delivery, as the passive distribution of materials, documents, quizzes, PDFs. These tools have not taught us much of anything. And what happens is that people look at the technology, they look at a classroom, and they point a camera at the front of the classroom, and they record it. And when they do that, they lose everything else that happens. They lose the magic. They lose the collaboration, the communication. But even with that, companies around the world and billions of dollars is being invested in the idea of scaling up the teacher as the font of all knowledge, as the expert in the room. And this is not the way to do it. We know that when a teacher tries to reach 10,000 students or 100,000 students, they don't even reach a single one of them. So more than that, open learning focuses on the idea of peer-to-peer interaction, of collaboration between students. And the idea with this idea is actually key to scaling education and to improving the quality of education worldwide. It's not possible to scale up one teacher to 10,000 people, but it is possible to have 10,000 people teaching each other, working together, forming groups. And this is the only way to do it, through peer-to-peer interaction. And that's what open learning makes possible, and that's what the courses on open learning do. So as we've grown to over 200,000 students in the past 2 years since we launched, we've focused not just on the number of enrollments, but also on the amount of peer-to-peer engagement per student. Platforms around the world are investing millions of dollars in distributing content, collecting prestigious university titles, putting logos on websites. But what they're really missing out is on actually getting students to interact with each other, which is at the heart of all learning. Platforms such as Coursera and Open to Study have less than 1 interaction, in fact less than 0.1 interaction per student in the platform, whereas Open Learning has over 15. This is a magnitude difference. And the reason is that because with every other platform, with all other MOOCs, people focus on distributing content. And what happens then is that education becomes a transaction. People go to the site to get some information and then they leave. Nobody asks a question, nobody stays. It's not a community, it's like reading the news. But with open learning, people stay there, they linger, they learn from each other, and they help each other out. So we know at the heart of effective courses is the idea that students can collaborate, that they can communicate. But what we've also found out over the past few years is that technology alone is not enough. You can have all of the tools, you can have all of the features, the commenting, the chatting, the social presence. You can have engaging activities. But unless you actually know how to construct those as a teacher, and this is what's critical, the teacher's role is changing. Before, they used to stand up at the front of the class and distribute knowledge while students talked amongst themselves. Now, teachers are designing learning experiences, and it's critical that the experiences they design online encourage students to interact, encourage them to work together, encourage them to share artifacts from their learning. And that's what open learning does. And to actually support that, we've realized that we not only need to provide the platform, we also need to provide the tools and resources to teachers to help them learn to teach better. So tonight, I'm really excited to announce one of the programs that we're launching. It's called the Future Educators Program. The Future Educators Program is the first nationwide program designed to upskill teachers in how to run and how to set up MOOCs. It focuses on providing training resources in the form of online courses, information, and in-person support here at our office and around Australia. Teachers will complete these courses on Open Learning, getting a taste of the actual learning experience as possible. They will then design and run their own MOOCs. And after that, the students will be the judge. Students will decide which courses are the best, which teachers have inspired them the most, and which courses they learned the most from. And the top 6 MOOC teachers will share in $25,000 of prizes and internships. And this competition is proudly supported by Learning Links, Electro Board, and Class Cover. And with them, we can reach 80,000 teachers nationwide and help them create better courses. Beyond Australia, we've been pioneering MOOCs in Malaysia. Malaysia, as a market, has 20 public universities owned by the government. It has 125 polytechnics and community colleges, and 500 private universities. Interestingly enough, though, it is also the first country in the world to have a nationwide MOOC strategy. And Malaysia, because of its critical position, it sees itself as a regional education hub for all of Southeast Asia. It is widely accepted in the West as a developed country, and accepted by the Middle East, North Africa, as a place that is safe for people of all cultures, with a focus on diversity and the quality of education. So Malaysia has been a perfect case study for us, and we've really been excited to work closely with them over the past couple years. So far in Malaysia, we are the clear leader in MOOCs. It all started in 2013 with the Dean of Engineering from Taylor's University who put the first MOOC in Malaysia online. He launched it on OpenLearning expecting only 100 students, but very quickly thousands joined. 90% of them were from outside Malaysia. What this showed was that people worldwide were actually interested in what he had to teach, were actually interested in working closely to understand what entrepreneurship was in Malaysia, how it worked, who was involved. And through that course, students interacted with people all over the world. They got to know each other. They launched projects and campaigns. And from there, the country was gripped. And in 2014, the Malaysian Ministry of Education looked at the success of MOOCs, and they thought, how could this be applied to improve equality and access to education? Malaysian Ministry of Education directly owns 20 universities. It subsidizes the fees for those universities as well. And what it's been able to do with MOOCs is teach engaging courses that allow the students across all 20 universities from both sides of Malaysia to work together, to collaborate, and to communicate, breaking down cultural and geographic barriers. This program has been so successful that in 2014, the first 4 MOOCs attracted 75,000 students. And this year, because of that success, they will launch over 60 MOOCs on OpenLearning in September. And they expect about 300,000 students to join those courses. But beyond that, Malaysia sees the potential for MOOCs to transform the education system. And they expect 30% of all MOOCs, of all university courses to run as MOOCs by the year 2020. So now, I've told one of our close associates in Malaysia, Professor Abdul Alas, about the launch tonight. And he was really honored, he was really excited about it, and he made this short video for us in his own time, just to show you what we've been doing together, and to show his recognition and support for OpenLearning, and the appreciation that we both share. Me for Prof. Karim introducing us to education in Malaysia, and really for us to helping get that going. So I really want to thank Prof. Karim, and I'll just play this video for you now.
My name is Abdul Karim. I'm Director of Center for Academic Excellence in Science Malaysia. And I'm very pleased to take this opportunity to say a few words for Adam on behalf of the Technical Committee of Malaysia Massive Open Online Course Project. And we are very, very happy to hear that today OpenLearning is opening a new office. So this marks a new milestone for OpenLearning, and I guess this is something very good for the company, and I guess also for the online learning, because OpenLearning has been very kind and very generous to us. OpenLearning has been closely associated with our Malaysia Books project, and Adam especially has been very, very helpful. So we wish all the best for OpenLearning on this new opening of the new office, and hopefully we can grow together to achieve better success in the future. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me now? Yeah. Okay, thanks. So thank you, Professor Abdul Alas. Prof. Karim is the Director of the Center of Academic Excellence in the University of Science in Malaysia. And he's been an instrumental figure in drafting Malaysia's higher education vision for the next 15 to 20 years. So it's an honor to have him send us that video tonight. Can everyone still hear me up the back? Yes. Great. Yeah. So today, I would like to make a major announcement. We believe that this announcement could be one of the most important that we've made so far as a company, building on our success in other places. So today, I'm really excited to announce that we have won the tender to deliver the first Australian government MOOC. This MOOC is on a critical topic for the future of policymaking in Australia. Regulatory impact analysis and the preparation of a regulatory impact statement defines the way policy is created in Australia. It focuses on how the consultation process between the public, between stakeholders, between government is done. And all new policy introduced in government requires a regulatory impact statement. All levels of government are involved, from federal to state level. Normally, if you want to train people on these important topics, it would cost millions of dollars and take years to deliver that training effectively to thousands of people. But Australia can't wait. It's important that everyone understands the way to prepare these statements, not just in the government itself, but also in the general public. Because we all have a stake in quality government, in quality legislation, and quality policies. And community organizations nationwide and everyone else really want to create better policy and understand how policy is made. So this MOOC will make that possible. Interestingly enough, this was actually the result of a competitive two-round tender process where we put forward all the things Open Learning was capable of, and really that only Open Learning could deliver a MOOC with clear instructional design, a strong background in education, and on an international platform that was stable and used by hundreds of thousands of people. In the second phase of the project, this MOOC will be made accessible to leaders across APEC. The MOOC will be translated and customized into multiple languages with content and case studies from each country. Policy officers at the highest levels of government will connect and learn through Open Learning. This is really the future of training. It's the future of professional development, and it's actually coming out of Australia and reaching the world. What all of this shows is that Open Learning is a truly international platform, available to students and educators in every country. Existing platforms like Coursera, Udacity, edX take a colonial view of education. They believe that the most prestigious universities in the world have a monopoly on quality courses, that if you want to learn something, you should only take a course from the top 200 universities. But that is not the case. Open Learning believes that the best courses come from teachers worldwide. They're not necessarily in the most prestigious universities. They're not exactly from particular countries. At Open Learning, we understand that education requires collaboration. It's not about colonization. We believe that Australia is perfectly placed to lead this transformation. And as we grow and raise further funding, we hope that Australian investors can support Open Learning and help us expand in Australia and beyond, and take this concept of education, the ways in which we support and empower students and teachers worldwide, and inspire people to make a difference. So I would like to thank all of you for your support tonight and say that we are changing the world of education. We're disrupting the education sector globally, but we're not doing it alone. All of us here and in the broader community have a role and a stake in this transformation. We all benefit by lifting equality and diversity of education. And with your support, together, we can educate the next generation of people worldwide and make a difference in the lives of millions. So now, I would like to introduce the Honourable Mr. Paul Fletcher, MP, Parliamentary Secretary of the Department of Broadband and Communications, and member for Bradfield. It is an honour to have Mr. Fletcher with us today, and I would like to personally thank him for coming to Sydney after a busy day in Canberra. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Fletcher to launch Open Learning's new brand and website.
Well, thank you very much, Adam. Now, I've been given very clear instructions that the first thing I need to do is press a button here.
Very complicated button.
The instructions were, I think, so okay, so now let me give you this assurance: Australia is not a nuclear power state.
Please help us count down from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, Adam, thank you very much. What a tremendously inspiring story yours is and your company's is. And what a pleasure to be here with you, with Clive Mayhew, your chair, with all the other investors, and congratulations particularly to the investors without whom none of this would have happened, to staff of the company, to customers, none of this would have happened without you either, and to friends and supporters generally. This really is a tremendously exciting occasion. And it's an occasion that is worth marking, I think, for several very important reasons. Firstly, it's very exciting to see a startup business. There's a lot of talk about startups, and the level of energy around startup businesses in Australia is very visibly accelerating. The number of startup businesses, the number of people who are saying, I'm going to do something different to working in a corporate or for government. I'm going to take a risk and work with others. I think I've got an innovative idea and I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to have a go. And Adam, you and your fellow founders of the company have absolutely done that. It's particularly exciting that not only have you started this business, but you've secured funding. Not an easy thing to do in Australia, but you've won backing from investors, including local investors. And it's tremendously exciting what you're doing. The Australian government is very, very enthusiastic about our growing startup culture. We're trying to do what we can to support startups. For example, we've announced that we're changing the law in relation to employee share ownership plans so that startups in Australia can match standard remuneration practices in the tech sector around the world to be able to offer employees options and to do it in a way where that's actually an incentive to employees rather than under the current tax settings where you face the prospect of being awarded options, immediately being taxed on them in the year you're awarded, and then of course the options may never be worth anything. Parenthetically, I'm sure that will not be the case. But we are changing that as one of the tangible ways we want to demonstrate our support as a government for startups. Look, I think the second reason why what's happening this evening and what you've achieved with OpenLearning is really enormously exciting is education is a critical industry in Australia. It's a critical export industry. It's a $15 billion a year export industry. But of course, for all the reasons you've talked about, this industry, like every other industry, is facing profound disruption thanks to the internet, thanks to digital connectivity. What you're doing is making sure that Australia and the Australian education sector is not sitting there passively being disrupted, but is part of the disruption. And you're doing it by delivering a better experience to the end user, to the student. Your focus on the end user experience is very, very clear from everything you do. And that really is the fundamental, I'd argue, of disruption in every sector. The technology, of course, is critically important. You can't do it without the technology. But the reason the offerings are disruptive is because they offer the customer, they offer the end user a better way to do the things they want to do. And that's enormously powerful. And the rate of change we are seeing all around the world, as I hardly need even make the observation, is absolutely staggering. But what's enormously exciting here is to see clever people here in Australia being part of that, being disruptors. And of course, the third thing that is enormously exciting about what you're doing is the particular niche, the particular sector that you've chosen. There is a lot of talk, a lot of hype about MOOCs. And I can remember 15 years ago sitting in Canberra being told by somebody who was probably pretty far-sighted that the traditional business model of universities was under huge pressure. Now, it took a long time for that to materialise, but we are now seeing a tremendous rate of change. And of course, it is because of all of the factors you've talked about, some of the flaws in the traditional teaching model, some of the strengths that a MOOC can bring to bear, particularly your differentiator, the social and collaborative nature of the experience for the student. And it's very, very exciting to see the rate of take-up you've been able to achieve in a remarkably short time. The breakthrough you've had in Malaysia is really quite remarkable. And I was looking at your graph before, and looking at that inflection point in about October last year, really very, very exciting. So, look, for a whole host of reasons, this is a wonderful occasion to be part of. I think you can take enormous pride in what you've achieved. This, ladies and gentlemen, is really the future of Australia. There's a narrative that's around that we're an old economy country, that we've done very well in resources and agriculture, and that's great, but we don't have smart people, we don't have technological capability, and that we face becoming marginalised as the world transforms. In all of the things that I have the great privilege of seeing, I believe that narrative is absolutely wrong. Yeah. And the sense of momentum and energy I find to be quite extraordinary. And tonight's occasion and what you've achieved in this company is powerful evidence of that. To be taking the position you are taking in this very important sector is tremendously exciting. Ours is an economy which is 70% services. This is a critical service sector in education. You've got a wonderful differentiator here. It's tremendously exciting. So can I say to you, on behalf of the government, we are thrilled with what you're doing. You've achieved a very significant milestone today. I'm sure that you have a much greater distance to travel, and the stories will continue to be extremely exciting. So well done to everybody involved. Well done to the founders. Well done to the investors. I'm thrilled to be here with you this evening. Congratulations on what you've achieved, and I'm sure it is only the start for you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fletcher, for joining us this evening and helping us launch our very exciting new website. Let me tell you, after working on it for so long, it is a massive relief to have it out in the open in front of you. Also, I'd like to thank Adam for reminding our team just how much work we have to go. Thanks, Adam. Okay. That is the end of our planned activities for the night. Thank you all so much for making the time to meet our team, seeing our new office, and networking amongst each other tonight. You are more than welcome to stay, grab another drink. We've made sure to cater for a small town this evening, so please do us a favour and enjoy more food as we don't have space in the fridge. Thanks again. I hope you enjoy the rest of the night.